Greetings everybody, welcome to G4G on YouTube. I'm Napalm Dawn, and today we're going to be in a game that I haven't done a video on in quite some time, and that's DC Legends. And you're probably thinking, wow, Napalm's gone traitor, he's going over to the dark side. Well, no, I've been playing DC Legends for a long time, been in an alliance that actually recently went #1 at the end of last week. I was not part of the push as I was on vacation, so I stepped out of the alliance for that week, which was the Flash week. I had actually voted for the Green Lantern week just because Green Lantern is stronger for me, and I knew I would be in town the whole time, but they went with the Flash week, so I dutifully stepped aside for the week, and I'm now back in, and this is UGLA COA number 6 that I'm in. We're down at 35, but we actually pulled #1 last week. It's a little bit surprising. I thought they were going for top 10 on Flash Week, and they actually wound up in top 1. So they did a really good push, and as you can see here, 1, 5, 2, 3, and 4 are in the top 10, and we're just outside of it in number 6. So, please don't take that as a humble brag. It wasn't because I wasn't even part of the alliance for that week, so I take no claim to it. The reason why I'm doing this video today is because they have sort of brought back a meta that a lot of us Marvel Avengers Alliance players might remember. So if you think back to the fun days of PvP when it comes to Marvel Avengers Alliance, what was one of the most common items that people had, that people who didn't have it were ridiculously jealous of, people who did have it felt happy, people who had it and used it on defense built teams around it, and then you also had to know how to combat it when you were fighting on offense when it came to PvP. Now, you're probably thinking of about 10 different things in your head, one of which might be the cube, then maybe the scroll of Runamaroth, then maybe the scroll of Angelob. You're probably thinking a whole lot of things, but the one thing that I'm talking about here was everybody's favorite, or everybody's most hated, the Mystic, with the Mystic Shroud. So, I'm going to guarantee that everybody watching this video knows what the hell this is. But if you didn't, the Mystic Shroud was a weapon, a ranged magic weapon that you equipped on the agent that prevented debuffs in the first round of combat. When you hit somebody with it, they got popped with Bane, which meant they took extra damage from magic attacks and effects. And it also caused obsolete tech, which prevented technology attacks and technology status effects. I can't really even remember what technology status effects there were in there that were positive. Yeah, I just don't recall how many tech positive effects there were. Now, there were things that certainly, okay, well, a tech support field, I guess if they were popped by the Mystic, they wouldn't get the tech support field, but there were more things that attacked tech than just provided buffs from it, but there were plenty of tech weapons. So the reason why this was so strong is in the first round of combat, unless you got rid of the Mystic Shroud, you couldn't put debuffs on somebody. Pesty came and screwed that up. The Scroll of Runamaroth screwed that up. The Cube with the Blackest Void on the first round screwed that up. Mystic was very powerful, or the Mystic Shroud was very powerful, but there were also a lot of very fair counters to it. Admittedly, the cube was just as much of a hot item as the Mystic itself, so you're probably going to sit there and say, yeah, well, both the Mystic and the cube were like wallet warrior level things, because they weren't drops. And as you can see here, they only went on sale twice in the game. So PvP Tournament Season 11 is what dropped it. And then it went on sale in 2014 and again on 2015. Now, the game went from 2012 to 2016. These were fully like a year and a quarter apart. and they were right smack in the middle. You didn't have that much access to it for free in the well, not for free. You didn't have accessible access to it in the beginning or the end. It was the Spiral season, which also gave us the Infiltrator's empowered armor, and of course Spiral, who was grand. So you might be thinking, why are we doing this video? What does this all have to do with anything? Well, for the price of tea in China, Green Lantern over here has sought to replicate the Mystic meta. So Green Lantern has been around the game for a long time. Probably one of everybody's original toons that they have really beefed up. For me, one of my original toons that's super beefed up is my Zatana. She's now maxed out at 5 stars. She has, you know, all of her skills are legendary. She's almost 60 for me. A bunch of 6'8", 7'9". My Hocus Pocus is not very high because I just don't find the need to really dive into that one. And I don't use her as a leader enough that I wanted to dump into Mistress of Magic, but, you know, she's been a mainstay for me for a very long time. Clearly one of the best healers in the game. She moves debuff. She's like Hafe to a certain degree. My main squad is Zatana, Doctor Poison, Broccoli Head, and Siren. Siren is probably my favorite DPS in the entire game. As you can see, I also have a good Poison Ivy, Cheetah, Boobs Window, Harley Quinn, and then I hate facing Wonder Girl on PvP defense because that AoE hits like a truck, and then she does that damn whip that removes buffs. Anyway, we're talking about Green Lantern, and for me, I mean, he's getting there. He's 128 to 310, and if you hit find, he is in so many heroic locations. It's very easy to farm for him if you wanted to. Well, he was reworked recently. So he's always had the power gauntlet where if you legendary it, he will call an assist if he's shielded. That's very strong. Strength of Will is where he shields himself, and if you legendary it, other abilities are reduced by 1. This may have been reworked. I don't remember what the legendary was to the shield. Pick it up. It's Hammer Time. Also removes buffs when you legendary it. Its big thing is that it stuns if he's shielded. Hard Light. At the beginning of each enemy's turn, 56% chance to gain 1 agility up, 1 int up if Green Lantern's not shielded. If you legendary him, he also begins to rebuild his shields. Fortunately, the path that I took, that's my last one. If he's a team leader, he used to have shields at the start of battle. Well, now what's happening is they've given him debuff immunity. If you were unaware of that, you would probably be playing PvP and go like, wow, why does everybody have that shield icon in the beginning of combat? What the I can't make these guys bleed. What's going on here? Where's this coming from? It's the Green Lantern rework, and what's interesting is it replicates the Mystic meta, in that it applies debuff immunity at the beginning of battle. It normally would do it to him, but when you legendary it, it applies to everybody on your side. And that can get pretty obnoxious because it changes the way, for some of us, that you approach PvP. Now, this is a Green Lantern week over here, and what I like to do is when I have a PvP daily for the Alliance, I try to leave my weaker teams to face. This way I can throw weak toons in for the Alliance if need be, and then I do the harder teams when it's PvE daily. So I bring in my main PvP squad and I don't have to put in a little scrub for the Alliance daily. Right now, this board is not going to work out for me except for 2 of them. But we'll go ahead and use it. So, if I were to take my main team in here, I would put Broccoli out and I would put Green Lantern in. That's not going to be the case since it's a weak team. Let's take a look at what the rest of the daily is. Ah, right. Manta and Katana. So what I always like to do is I like to get the 5-point person in, and then if I can, I start picking from the 2-point category. So we'll leave Green Lantern is there as the lead. We'll bring in Manta. We will bring in Samurai Chick. We're just about equal with them, so we can bring in Natalie Portman's Naboo over here. And watch what happens when we begin combat. Now, of course, starting the battle with a shield is great. It's great for everybody. But, of course, it's great for Green Lantern, which means he's call assisting right from round 1, or he's immediately stunning a high-priority target, provided he hasn't lost the shields. Well, we've got Dr. Naboo over here. That means we're going to have shields for days. So they're not running the enemy Green Lantern as the leader, but you'll notice it's more than just one round. I have debuff immunity for 2 turns. That's pretty rough. That's even stronger than the Mystic meta. And what's interesting is if Green Lantern loses his shields, it doesn't matter. We still are going to have that Mystic Shroud kind of effect on the rest of the team. If he dies, it doesn't matter. The effect stays. So that's actually what is quite a bit different from Marvel Avengers Alliance, where if you had killed the agent before the first round was fully up, the Mystic Shroud would drop off. So you could either purge it or kill the agent who was providing it. And I mean, that certainly makes sense if you think of it as a an active effect, and the agent was essentially like a generator that was producing that effect. If you take the generator out, anything powered up by the generators is screwed, and you know that's the way it worked. But here, doesn't matter. You can take Green Lantern out, and you still won't lose the debuff immunity. And this could mean that I might take Broccoli out of that leader position and put Green Lantern in. However, I really, really like Broccoli a lot. He does a lot of good things for me. I would be sacrificing the debuff immunity and a call assist, which as you can see puts out quite a bit of damage. And by the way, you can't call assist a call assist. If you call assist and the person who responds is somebody who has a call assist on their level 1, it doesn't chain. I tried that as an experiment once. That was my old MAA thinking coming through. I'm like, I wonder if I could do a crazy combination and change a bunch of call assists together. You don't. Marvel Avengers Alliance does. It would have allowed you to do it if you did like Rocket Raccoon and Union Jack or Spider-Man Noir or Hogun or whatever. They would all be bouncing off each other quite easily. So here, we are going to be dealing with it. He's in the leadership position, so we know what we're going to be facing. If I use my regular team, I just go to damage. Siren can do a lot of direct damage regardless of bleeds. Zatana can purge somebody if I wanted to. So I have ways around it on my main team. What I would really like is an AoE buff remover, and that essentially would do it. But anyway, so back to the topic of leadership. I like Broccoli as my leader because he can taunt if need be to save somebody, and his basic attack puts a hot on a random person. So, hey, well, okay. If you look, these guys only have 1 round, and she's already lost it. So for my main team, it does change the way my beginning round works. It used to be that I AoE'd on Siren for AoE bleeds, and then I would go ahead and AoE on Doctor Poison for AoE bleeds and maybe the heal reduction or the heal block. Now I just go raw damage. I'm not particularly affected by it. It hasn't swerved my opening too much. It's just delayed it a little bit. And I wonder if it'll make a lantern meta a deal, because if you think about it, that's what we're facing over here. This is a lantern team. Now that she's gone and the debuff immunity is gone, we're gonna have Manta apply the bleeds. Atrocitus is definitely a bit of a pain, but my next target is gonna be Hal, because see, he's just building his shields up. I think I'm actually... never mind. I'm going not to go for him right now. His shields are a little bit too strong. I would be wasting turns banging away on him. I think I'm just going to go for Atrocitus. That Dr. Naboo, when he does that ability before an enemy attacks, it always seems to be so ridiculously strong when I face Dr. Naboo's. When mine did it really didn't seem that strong, but let's go ahead and apply some more bleeds. Bleeds are fantastic when you're facing shielders, by the way, as their damage really doesn't get mitigated by shields nearly as much as just raw, straight-up attacking. Now that I've taken his shield off, I'm going to go ahead and stun him the next time I can. And that's exactly what I want to do. I want to stun him out before he gets more shields on him. And we're just going to go ahead, beat him up until he's dead. And that's... I mean, I know that's red on blue, but that's why I like the bleed so much. And there you go, guys. There's Green Lantern trying to bring back Marvel Avengers Alliance old Mystic Shroud meta. I think it's pretty easy to deal with. I think just going, you know, me being debuff heavy with the bleeds, I'm drastically affected by it on paper. However, it's very, very easy to just change up my opening rounds and not have to worry about it whatsoever. So, let me know what you think. Let me know if you are a DC Legends player and if it happens to bring back Mystic Shroud PTSD over here. And I just wanted to go ahead and show you. So my broccoli, the way he's got his legendary, so C construct puts out mends and a little bit of a shield. This is where he taunts if I need to protect somebody. I don't use Hypnotic Light a lot, which is why I haven't legendaried it and don't upgrade it a hell of a lot. It's very circumstantial. Why would I want to just slow somebody down if I'm trying to kill them? I just want to kill them, but there are times where slowing them with the speed downs if they're enraged, or the strength downs if they're not, is way better than just hitting them with a little bit of a chlorophyll ball. Damage immunity is really good. This also saves somebody who might be in danger, and his team lead of the agility up and the shield and everything, I could give it up for a Green Lantern leadership, but I like this too much. He just has a little bit too much more utility for me than Green Lantern. That will to live has definitely saved a lot of people in my time of using him in PvP. So there you go, guys. Let me know what you think, and if you are a dual player of Marvel games and this DC Legends game, let me know, because I've always been pretty vocal about not liking DC as much as Marvel, but for this game, I make a little bit of an exception. Peace out, everybody. Have a good one.